Hi, so I just wanted to go over the assignment before I went over the PowerPoint. So this assignment asked us to imagine that we were asked to create a presentation to the administration and staff regarding the benefits of bilingualism, and to create a PowerPoint discussing some of the benefits, references to studies or readings, and why this is important for administrators and teachers to implement in their classroom. So let's start off. So the benefits of bilingual education. I think it is essential to start off with what dual language learners are. So who are dual language learners? Dual language learners are children who have learned more than one language at infancy at the same time. So they either learn one language and are in the process of learning a second language at infancy, or they learn two languages at the same time. What I would do, and for the sake of this video, I won't for the extended amount of time, but I think it's essential for teachers to also watch this video about the benefits of the bilingual brain. Now, I started at 253 because it shows precisely what research says.
Recent research showed that people who learned a second language in adulthood exhibit less emotional bias and a more rational approach when confronting problems in the second language than in their native one. But regardless of when you acquire additional languages, being multilingual gives your brain some remarkable advantages. Some of these are even visible, such as higher density of the gray matter that contains most of your brain's neurons and synapses, and more activity in certain regions when engaging a second language. The heightened workout of bilingual...
So again, I would show this video to teachers essentially and administrators essentially explain the benefits of the bilingual brain. Now, as we can see here, yes, being bilingual increases the density of your brain. This video then goes on to talk about some of the other benefits, such as prolonging Alzheimer's and dementia, and some of the other cognitive benefits of being bilingual and implementing this bilingual program. So now that teachers and administrators get an understanding of what the bilingual brain is and how that works, I would talk about what bilingual education is. So bilingual education is defined by Russell and Baker as a practice in public schools that refers to teaching non-English speaking students how to read and write in their native tongue, teaching them content in their native tongue, and ultimately transitioning to English. So whether the students speak Spanish or ultimately come into the classroom reading and writing and learning in their Spanish tongue, and ultimately they'll transition to English and learn the content and learn how to read and write in their English tongue as well. Some of the benefits of bilingual education and the importance of implementing it in our classroom include the following. So there's several. To increase cognitive skills. So normally, and originally, the rationale for incorporating bilingual education into the classroom was to increase cognitive skills of students. And this is the reason why it's extremely important for us to implement it in our classrooms. This will be an advantage for teachers. This would also be an advantage for administrators, because our ultimate goal is to increase student achievement. So if bilingual education is increasing cognitive skills, it's a plus for the entire community. In addition, it allows students and children to feel like they are fully embedded within their families and their communities. If students are bilingual and bilingual and trilingual, then they are able to feel a part of their community, being that they are able to interact with their community. In addition, being dual language and being able to read and write and think in multiple languages allows for higher levels of abstract thought, which is ultimately important in learning. So our ultimate mission, and all schools' ultimate mission, is to have students learn. So if learning in more than one language is allowing for students to think abstractly and promote higher levels of learning, then it's extremely important that we embed the bilingual education program in our classrooms. Some other benefits of bilingual instruction include having students feeling prideful in their language and culture, and having them think in a greater capacity, having them think critically. Garcia talks about students knowing more than one language and what that means for them being able to think critically. Also, by implementing a bilingual education program within our classrooms, it will allow for students, once they learn how to write in two languages and read in two languages, they'll be able to think intellectually, and they'll reap some of the cultural, economic, and social benefits. Evidence suggests that it allows students to think a lot more creatively. So students that are bilingual and multilingual think creatively, and they are far more divergent thinkers than students that speak in one language or are monolingual. So research that was done by Jimenez, Garcia, and Pearson found that students that were taught bilingually, or students that spoke in more than one language, students that were incorporated in bilingual education programs, were able to use cross-linguistic strategies in their reading to extend their thoughts and to expand on their reading. Some of the particular strategies that Garcia talks about is code switching and translating, and they were able to use these strategies to help them master the language. So being able to use these cross-linguistic strategies will ultimately allow students to master their home language. And this is really important, because if students are able to master their home language, then they can certainly master more than one language. And this goes back to student achievement. They will be able to be school ready, and the success of our students will be far more enabled if they are learning more than one language. A case study that was done by Harrison and Stockton involved looking at two phys ed classes. So it evaluated instruction in a bilingual phys ed class and a monolingual phys ed class. And in this bilingual and monolingual phys ed class, they measured a few different things. They measured achievement in the physical education tasks taught. So that means being able to practice the task physically, knowledge of language terms mentioned in class, and their vocabulary tests or their vocabulary assessments. So some of the results were a little interesting. As far as physical education tasks taught, the results showed that both monolingual and bilingual students were able to perform the same. So there really wasn't a difference if you told a student to kick a ball in one language and a student to kick a ball in dual language, or if you taught them how to kick a ball bilingually. They were able to perform the same physical education tasks, or whether you told them to shoot a basketball. Both students that were taught monolingually and bilingually were able to perform the same tasks. However, students that were taught bilingually had higher scores in their vocabulary tests and were able to recall far more language terms mentioned in class than students that were taught monolingually. So this shows that bilingual education has huge benefits, because they are able to achieve far greater results on their scores and their written assessments and their achievements. So teaching bilingual education will ultimately allow students to increase their academic capacity, their cognitive thinking, allow them to think critically, and for this is why we should implement it in all our classrooms. So this is the references. Thank you so much.